Can you hear my kids?
It's Royal Rumble predictions time, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this live stream. Myself and NXT are in the hot seat, and we're going to give you our picks who will win the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches this year. Not on top of that, we're going to dive into surprise entrance returns. Who will be walking away as the undisputed WWE champion? That's right. Let's go into some of those matches. We have Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. We also have and it's going to be a ladder match as well. We've got a 2 out of 3 falls for the WWE Tag Team Championships. DIY defending against Motor City Machine Guns. Like I said, we've got the 2 Rumble matches as well. We'll start off with the women's, and we will close the show with the men's. I'm in the hot seat with NXT. It was good to have you here, my good friend. And look, it's like it's Christmas part 2. It's Royal Rumble season. It's my favorite PLE of the year. Do you have the same excitement as me?
Dude, I was going to say the same thing. It is my favorite time of year. Forget Christmas. It is Royal Rumble season. This is what I look forward to every year. 10 out of 10 excitement levels. This year especially, because honestly, this is going to be such a fun conversation, because at this present minute, I don't even know who I'm picking to win these Rumbles, because there's so many variables and so many options. I'm just like, at this minute, I'm just going to throw a name against the wall, and whatever sticks I think is going to be my choice.
It's exciting, isn't it? Well, then, so that means your excitement level must be a 10, mustn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me.
10 out of 10 for me as well. I'd even stretch as far as 11 if we're allowed to do that. And hey, it's our show. So let's say, yes, 11 out of 10 for the Royal Rumble excitement. Look, I mean, usually we always say, what match are you most looking forward to? I think it's a given here. It's a Royal Rumble match, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, man. Especially the men's one, just because of the way it's been produced this year and the way that they've kind of made it look like there's at least 10 different people that could win this. I think it's just so exciting. Like, every year previously, we've kind of had an inkling of who's going to win it. But this year, like I said, there's so many names, and it's kind of like you have to take WrestleMania into account as to who's going to win this. But yeah, I mean, if you don't say a Rumble match, I'm going to say KO versus Cody, just because, you know, what I want to happen, what probably will happen are 2 different things. But it's a ladder match, and they're always exciting.
The thing is, every match, it looks like it's going to be amazing. I mean, like, both Royal Rumble matches are open. That's the thing. I agree with you. I'm going to lean more to the men's because it looks more open with amount of superstars that can win than the women's. I've got an idea who I think the women's winner is going to be. We'll get into that later in the show. But the men's one, genuinely, like you say, I'm going between 2 or 3 names here, and literally what we say on the stream is what we're going to stick with. It's going to be interesting. But like you said, a ladder match and 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, do you know why they're famous for these matches? And this could be, this could finally be the match that puts the Motor City Machine Guns on the map. Because look, they've been tag team champions, but the reactions haven't always been the biggest, I would say, from the crowd. But I think this is a type of crowd, a type of show, type of match. I think people might start getting more invested in everyone's favorite tag team from the last 20 years, or your favorite tag team's favorite tag team.
Favorite tag team. Yeah, agreed. No, I mean, the women's one, I've got an inkling with who you may pick, and I've got a theory as to why it probably won't be that person. Ooh. This is based on, like I said, just on who I reckon you might pick and who a lot of people are picking. And like I said, I've got a kind of thing that's going to sort of counteract that and maybe not be the reason why you pick that person. But we'll get into it when we talk about the women's Rumble match.
Sounds like we're in a lot of codes so far, ladies and gentlemen. But don't worry, you don't need like a password or anything like that. We're going to unravel and unveil everything as we go into this video. But look, hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe, do that good stuff that helps this channel out massively. Because I said, let's make a goal in the stream. We want a minimum of 10 likes on the video. If you can do that for us, it helps the algorithm on YouTube. Just push that. A few more people get to it. And then if they get this far in the video, might push it to 15, might push it to 20. Before you know it, a lot of people are checking out this stream. We'd really appreciate all the help and support. It does more than you can ever imagine. Joe is in the house, and he's not sure at the moment of his predictions either. He will share them a bit later on. Maybe needs a bit of convincing from us. But Joe, good to see you in the house. And Kingdom of Leo is with us as well. Said it would be a bad decision for Liv to win. Would it be a bad decision? Sorry, it just doesn't understand why she keeps getting the short end of the stick every time she loses the title. To the women,
she my arguments for the last month.
And then she doesn't even get the rematch for the title. I mean, she held it for a long time. And we've spoke about this in previous videos. She has been the runner-up of the last 2 Women's Royal Rumbles matches. Could it be her year? We're going to find out later. All I'll say, though, in a quick answer, Leo, would it be a bad decision for her to win it? No, I think it'd be a good decision. I think she's one of the favorites. One reason she's on the thumbnail. I think she's in the top 4 most likely to win this match.
Yeah, I definitely would say top 4. But like I said, I've been saying for the last month on this channel, Liv Morgan has always been the bridesmaid and never the bride in terms of winning the Royal Rumble. And without that title, like, people know my feelings on it. So yeah, just like I said, I think that it's not out of the realms of winning it. If anything, I'd probably put her as high as like top 3. If anything, like, I would get rid of a 4th person. So she's definitely top 3 to win this.
I like it. I mean, the thing is, this is what I'll say quickly. Liv Morgan deserves a WrestleMania singles match, or a match where she's not in a multi-person match, whether it's tag team titles, battle royal, whatever you will. She deserves to be in a championship match. Will she get it? That's the big question. We'll answer that for you, Leo, later in the video. But let's dive in. We're 6 minutes in, so you know what that means. We need to get in and talk about our first match on the show. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the ladder match. That's right, for the Undisputed WWE Championship. And of course, that's not the only title hanging above the ring. Look at that beautiful Winged Eagle Championship. That was the first championship I watched as a young child watching professional wrestling. Don't call me old. It's Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, looking forward to this one immensely. Obviously, these two, it goes way back. How far do I need to go back to tell you all the details of this one? Cody and KO's match, of course, at Bash in Berlin. KO didn't pull the trigger. Cody Rhodes winning on that eventual evening. But of course, Cody would go on to team with Roman Reigns. KO took massive offense to that, of course, because, well, KO has been affected his last 4 years of his career due to Roman Reigns. And of course, all that tearing Roman down from the top for Cody then just to go and team with him. KO took massive exception to that, turning on Cody Rhodes, eventually leading to a championship match at the first or Saturday night's main event of its return. We've had 2 of them now. And of course, at that point, that's when KO did the package pile driver after the match because, well, he lost that match. And technically, he was a bit screwed over because the referee was out of position and was out of commission when he could have had the win. And the referee pinned his shoulders to the mat when the referee was outside of the ring as well. But of course, after that package pile driver, on the night that Cody had this Winged Eagle Championship for one night only, KO would walk around with that championship afterwards, parading himself as the actual champion. From this point onwards, then Cody would make a dramatic return to WWE. Kevin was supposed to get rid of that championship back to Nick Aldis, but he said that was his leverage to get another title match. Cody granted that title match. It was made into a ladder match, and that brings us here. And of course, there was another little detail as well, which I suppose plays into 2 matches, if you will, on this stream. KO has said to Sami Zayn that he understands why Sami teamed with Roman, but not Cody, because Sami, well, you know, he was someone that has a lot of history with Roman Reigns. He was part of the bloodline back in the day. We remember those times and the OG times. Famous Sami Zayn, of course, Sami Uso, that was going on then. Of course, he wanted to get Usi. Of course, he understood all of that. He said, Sami's a good guy. You know, bad things have happened to Sami. I've screwed over Sami, said Kevin Owens. And he said, look, you always forgave me. And that's why I understood why you forgave Roman. It was different for you. And I know that you're going to win the Royal Rumble, Sami, because I've got your back. The big question is, have you got my back? And you know what? I know you'll have my back, which means Kevin Owens feels his best friend, Sami Zayn, will help him retain that championship or win that championship. He's retaining in his head, winning that championship would be the case in this match. But the question will be, will Sami do so? We'll have to wait and see. Not Uso, do so. And Nick, Steve, your thoughts on the build of all of this? I feel like this could be the finale for these two. Heck of a way to kick off this stream.
Yeah, it's just a shame that the result is probably inevitable, and that's probably the kicker, because as much, dude, as I would love Kevin Owens to win this championship, WrestleMania plans are a thing, and, you know, from what the dirt sheets say, KO is not going to be champion at WrestleMania. Spoiler alert, I'm picking Cody to retain. I don't know what KO's going to do at Mania, and that's my biggest fear. And whether it's a case of that they do KO versus Sami again, and I'm pretty sure these two have faced each other at Mania, haven't they? You would know. Give me some information.
WrestleMania 37, and that was an appearance by Logan Paul for the first time in WWE. I think it was in Sami Zayn's corner. I think that led to underwhelming match at the time.
Is KO versus Sami without a title? Like, don't get me wrong, the match is always going to be great if they do that, but without a title on the line, is it really WrestleMania? Like, does that match get on the card without a title involved? And I think that's the biggest problem. I mean, dude, like I said, as much as I'd love to see KO win this, I just can't see it happening. But the build otherwise, like, it's been fantastic. We did our end of year awards a couple of weeks ago, and I said then that in the short amount of time that they've been building this, it's already been a hot feud. And a couple of weeks later, it's still a hot feud. And dude, KO is one of my favorite wrestlers. The way he breaks the fourth wall, even with the stuff like when he come out with the custom T-shirt on when he was son of an engineer or something, son of a famous Canadian engineer or whatever it was that he had printed on his T-shirt. He just knows how to play mind games so well. It adds so much to. Do you know what I mean? Just essentially peeing off Cody Rhodes. So I'm I'm looking forward to this, man. It should be fun. It's a ladder match. They're always entertaining. But yeah, it's the result that's going to ruin it for me.
Or is it? I kind of get where you're coming from, because I think the biggest twist you could do now on the road to WrestleMania, because we've both said at the start of this video, the men's Royal Rumble, it's all over the place. We've got no idea who's going to be winning it. Could you just imagine if the curveball was thrown right now and Kevin Owens actually won the match? Because even if KO lost the title again at Chamber, that would just throw speculation into what, like, no one would have a clue what's going on for WrestleMania. And sometimes that makes the most fun build on the road to WrestleMania, the twists and the turns. And if there's one thing I would say from this little run we've seen in this feud here with these two, KO deserves another run as champion at some point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think he's already stated that he never wants to be IC champion again, because I think he said he's tied with Owen Hart, and there's a run-in from my dog apparently. So he's tied with Owen Hart on the amount of IC championships, and he said that he doesn't want to win anymore because he's content being on the same level as Owen. And it's kind of like, well, we're running out of titles for you to win, KO. So do you know what I mean? Honestly, dude, even when he won the world title originally, he said he had some special gear made that we never even saw, and it's like, he has to be champion again. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he is one of Triple H's guys, and he's one of the few people that has deserved a championship title over the last 4 years. Since Roman's been champion, like, he's the one guy that's consistently, like, deserved a championship shot. Like you said, the amount of storylines they've done where he got screwed over, and like they end up doing the last man standing match with Roman, and like he handcuffed Roman to a scaffolding rig during pandemic era, and he's been so consistent, and like I want him to be champion, and I can see it happening. I mean, spoiler alert, I think, but like I'm gonna predict now that I'm gonna kick my dog up the backside in a minute. My spoiler for WrestleMania 42 is KO versus Sami for a world title, like World Heavyweight Championships, WWE Championships, something. I think that is a match that screams it needs a world title. They could do it this year, to be fair. You're right, they could absolutely do it this year. I just highly doubt it, unfortunately.
It seems like it's an unlikely thing that they'll do that this year, but for me as well, like the thing that I keep in mind is that Sami Zayn's one part of the puzzle, but Randy Orton's another part of the puzzle, because we're talking about package pile drivers. Randy was the first one to take it, and what's to say that he doesn't make the comeback here at this moment? Because there could be a moment where Sami arguably makes the question, do I help KO, do I not? Whilst he's deciding whether he makes the decision to help or not. That could be where Randy could make the comeback, and that's where he could hit an RKO and perhaps Sami and even KO, and that is what leads to Cody win the championship. But there is also an argument that could be made, and this is where I'm going to like a small argument for KO to win here, and then we'll see. I will see if I keep it as my prediction, because Randy has always said to Cody, we're always on good terms, and he understood with Cody teaming with Roman Reigns as long as it didn't get messy. And I think it's quite safe to say, and forgive my French, shit's hit the fan because he's had a package pile driver out of it. He's been put on the shelf for a little while. And it's Cody that you could argue is the reasoning for it, because KO wouldn't have done this had Cody not teamed with Roman Reigns. So there could be a moment where Randy wants revenge on KO. However, he wants to take out Cody. You predicted a triple threat match for these three at WrestleMania. I mean, it would be a great way to start building that through something here. And with a ladder match, you can do something screwy in this match, and it sort of is acceptable because there's no referee's involvement here. So there is a way that you can make this work. But I do feel in my head that Sami is not going to help Kevin Owens in some fashion. He'll do either the right thing or it'll be the Randy comeback at that moment. I do think Cody is retaining. I think you're right. As much as I am trying to will this moment into existence of how we can have a KO run with the title, I kind of agree with you. I mean, Cody, look, he's not dropping he's going into WrestleMania as champion. You're right. I don't want to burst the bubble because I've tried blowing quite a few of them there to try and get this out there as a nice little sort of dream for everyone. But yeah, Cody's retaining.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is like, even though it's not been announced, I imagine KO will be in the Rumble later on in the night as well. And I presume Randy will be in the Rumble as well, which is why I think that's probably going to be KO's match at Mania, is Randy versus KO. Like, it almost seems fitting, like it should be that match. They might not. They might do it at Chamber, but who knows at this point. But yeah, it's yeah, dude, it's unfortunate. Like, it's just it's the same problem we have when KO faced Roman, and that KO is in a position where the top guy is too top to be taken off the pedestal right at this moment, and it just happens to be that KO has just unfortunately got his championship title matches at a point where realistically Cody shouldn't be losing them.
Absolutely, yeah. At this point, Cody's had the title for so long, and it's near WrestleMania, and he's the face of the company. It makes logical sense Cody retains here. So let me just do a devil's advocate question, because we're saying how much KO deserves a world title run in some description. What if, like, this had been KO versus Gunther? You reckon there would have been a chance that KO could have won the title then?
I mean, dude, let's be honest. They can still do that. WrestleMania is the thing. And that's, I think, the plus side is that there's so many variables. Like, just talking about briefly about Gunther, I at this minute can't see who he's facing at Mania. And I think that's a good thing. Because, like, everyone seems to be after Cody in that WWE Championship. And I think Gunther is kind of silently going under the radar. But then you talk about the outcome of this match, what it could possibly lead to. The problem for me is always getting to that point where it makes sense. So, yes, if you are going to do KO versus Gunther, we've got to get there. We've got to have the story, the development, and get into that point. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, this would have been fantastic, and I would have had more faith in KO winning if this was Gunther right now. But the problem is, it's Cody Rhodes, and he's top guy, and like I said, it's hard to see him losing that championship. But like I said, if it would have been KO, if it was KO versus Gunther, I'd be picking KO to win.
Yeah, in the hypothetical world and that hypothetical question, I 100% agree with you. I've got nothing more to add. So yeah, Cody is our pick. Anything more to add, or should we go to the comments?
No, dude. I mean, just, like I say, it's going to be really exciting. Like, it's a ladder match. They're always good. And yeah, they're just like, I'm expecting this PLE to just be, honestly, so much fun, so much chaos. Like, yeah, it's going to be good, man.
I think it's going to be awesome. We have Mrs. Ims UK says, or Mr. Sims UK. You tell me which one it is. Got Del Boy there in the profile picture. I like that. KO will not be beating Cody. To be fair, I think you're right. Predicts also Sami Zayn to turn heel. Interesting proposition at that one. We can talk more about that when we get to the Royal Rumble match, I think, at this particular point. Actually, no, because when we get to the Rumble, I think that it could be. Can you see Sami turning heel?
No, I mean, like I said a minute ago, for my prediction for 42, one of them has to be heel, one of them has to be babyface. Sammy's too tied in with the bloodline in a minute, and they're all baby faces, so I can't see why one of them would randomly just turn heel. Unless they want to remove him from the storyline and he's no longer part of the bloodline, sure, fine, maybe. But at that point, being too intertwined with that group, I just can't see it happening at the minute.
I would say at the minute, no, I don't agree. But if you want to talk longer term, because when it says going to turn heel, there's not a timeline on that sentence. If he's going to turn heel at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to say no. If he's going to do it maybe 6 months from now, then I think there could be a possibility. I think Sami's moving into a very interesting 2025, and he clearly wants to be going for a top title. And if he doesn't get his moment at the Rumble, there could be some questions that could come into Sami Zayn's motive, characteristics, and everything else going into the rest of 2025.
Great.
Let's dive into the next match then, shall we? In the meantime, we're going to go for the 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Got DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Obviously, when you go through the history of Gargano and Alex Shelley, very good friends of over 20 years. However, Motor City Machine Guns were the Tag Team Champions, and well, that's when DIY would strike, because of course, Street Profits were meant to have a Tag Team title match. They were taken out backstage. Still has not been fully diagnosed, has it? I mean, it's not been fully clear of them saying it's been DIY, but it's quite clear it was DIY who did it. Pretty deadly, I think, through the accusations at Los Garza, didn't they?
It's Apollo Crews playing his dirty tricks again, and obviously he's dropping saying, I don't actually believe it was Los Garza, right? It was such and such. Yeah, it's they've essentially, it's them without basically them saying it is them.
Absolutely. And also when it came to the tag team match then, because DIY took the place and of the Street Profits on that evening, and that's when Johnny Gargano would famously do a low blow. And, of course, that would have the shock factor for Alex Shelley seeing that done to Chris Sabin. Of course, DIY would go on to win the Tag Team Championships. And I love the way that Gargano was like, well, that was easy. It's like it was there all along there for that heel turn. Of course, since then, DIY dastardly heels on SmackDown. Like you say, Apollo Crews has got himself involved in this a little bit, but of course, got a beat down backstage for his troubles from Gargano. However, Apollo Crews would actually get a roll-up victory over Johnny Gargano with Motor City Machine Guns coming to ringside, distracting Gargano. And of course, that's what led to backstage alongside Nick Aldis, the 2 out of 3 falls match being announced for the Royal Rumble. Tag team wrestling seems to have made a resurgence on SmackDown, ladies and gents. If there's one thing about SmackDown going to 3 hours that's been a good thing, in my opinion, is more tag team wrestling. A lot of those teams are getting TV time, which is really good to see. And I think that this is the sort of match, as we said here, that can really put both teams on the map at this particular time, because DIY are famous for these ones. Who remembers DIY versus the Revival from NXT TakeOver Toronto all those years ago? It was a match of the year at the time. I think this one, not necessarily it's going to be match of the year, but I think that these two teams have the ability to put on a candidate at the Royal Rumble.
I mean, you say DIY versus the Revival. I'm going to say DIY versus Mustache Mountain from Worlds Collide, because that equally was a great match. But like you said, the benefit of SmackDown getting 3 hours, better tag team wrestling, pretty deadly, an hour on TV actually wrestling, which for me is a massive win, because those guys have been non-existent for the last calendar year, so it's good to see them back. Don't get me wrong, apart from the Cody KO match, I think the rest of the card is like hard to call. Like, I honestly, there's so many arguments as to why both of these teams should win, and it's just going to be one of them ones where, like, look, DIY are famous for 2 out of 3 falls matches, like, both competed in many times in terms of singles competition, and you know what I mean. These guys are obviously, they have a history of being a great tag team, but then you put them up against a team like Motor City Machine Guns, who, like you said, 20 years of being this great tag team, and like you said, this could be the point where putting these titles on them could launch them into like the stratosphere of being a top tag team for WWE, and it's a hard one to call, but. Dude, like you said, the tag team wrestling has been revived on SmackDown, and they dropped the ball a lot last year with factions and tag team wrestling. So for me, in the 3-4 weeks that we're already into the new year, they've already made such a vast improvement, and I can only hope for more, man.
I can only hope for more as well, and I think we're going to get that here. I think that we're going to get like a 20-25 minute match here, and I think that it's going to be a nice breathing space between these two Royal Rumble matches. Obviously, one will kick off the show, one will main event the show. We have the Cody KO match, probably the match before the main Royal Rumble match of the night. So I think this one's going to be the second match on the card. And I think it's going to get time. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to predict Motor City Machine Guns to pick up the first fall, but I think DIY will pick up the next two there. That's meaning that DIY will retain those tag team titles. And I wouldn't be surprised if they cheat on that final fall to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say DIY just because I want DIY to retain anyway. I would actually like to see Pretty Deadly get a run with those tag team titles, so I'd like to see them. They're kind of like really in tweener stage of being heels and faces, so I'd like to see them get a shot against DIY and hopefully at some point win them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It would be cool to see. DIY's run the first time wasn't long enough for those tag team titles. Now they have them back as well. It would be good to see them have a proper run with these tag team titles. I'd like to see DIY hold these titles until WrestleMania. Like I said, the SmackDown tag team division is getting so much use right now. It's a good excuse for a multi-team tag team match at WrestleMania, and somehow get the feeling that they can make something pretty special with that moment if that does come to fruition. But any final comments before we go to the comments?
No, man. I mean, I'm gonna go because you said Mustache Man and pick one up, and then DIY win the next two. I'm gonna go DIY pick up a win for either side of Motor City Machine Guns winning that second fall.
Interesting. Could certainly be the case as well. I mean, usually it makes sense for the heels to pick up the first fall because in that way it's kind of like, can the faces do the next two? It's usually the odds against them, so it makes sense in that dynamic. But obviously, I'm going for the opposite just because of the fact that it puts the heels in an awkward position. But usually when it comes to these matches, whoever picks up the first one usually picks up the second. I just don't want to see a 2-0. Let's not have a 2-0.
I mean, the amount of times we're like, I remember the last time we got a 2-0, and I was like, what was the point? What was the point of doing the 3? Honestly, I hate that as well. It's a massive gripe with 2 out of 3 falls match.
Absolutely. Don't do it here, please, Trips, if you're listening. He's probably not. And then we have, I'm only saying Sami Zayn heel turn because Sami heel overkick Cody and Roman. Thinks that Sami will turn heel and say he meant to do it. Time will tell, my friend. And of course, it's certainly a good shout indeed. Thanks everyone that's watching the video so far. Please hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well. All those good things really help this channel out massively. And like I say, it's a good time to hit that like button. Get us to minimum of 10 likes on this video would help us massively. And of course, we're about to dive into Royal Rumble matches. So this is the time, if you're joining now, you're going to want to stick around. So let's dive in then with our first Royal Rumble match. And we'll talk about the Women's Royal Rumble match. Let's go through the competitors that we know will be in the match. We have Nia Jax being the first one that would be announced. Bayley would join afterwards. We have Charlotte Flair who will be returning. Naomi, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Lyra Valkyria, Ivy Nile, and Io Sky. So 10 women have been announced so far for the Women's Royal Rumble match. This is the kind of numbers that I think NXT likes because that means we've got a whole lot of mystery on the way. However, probably about 15 of those ones are going to be people that are currently on the Raw and SmackDown roster that have just not been announced. But I imagine we'll get some twists and turns and a few surprises along the way. Let's kick off by doing that. I mean, who do you think potentially could be some returns and surprise entrants that we could get in the Women's Royal Rumble match?
I mean, give me 2 seconds.
NXT will be back with us in a couple of moments.
My dog is honestly doing my nutting, and I'm literally gonna pick him up and squeeze him in a minute.
That's a cuddle for those that wondered.
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, I'm expecting at least Julia to make an appearance. She's NXT champion. I'm expecting either Kalani Jordan or Fallon Henley, possibly, since she's North American champion from NXT. Possibly Stephanie Vacour as well, because she seems to be obviously a hot favourite at the minute coming in. I'm expecting Jordan Grace to make her debut for WWE and like her full-time I'm part of WWE debut. Dude, as much as I'd love to say AJ Lee, I doubt it's possible. I doubt it will happen. Charlotte Flair's obviously going to return as well. Becky Lynch, and I don't know, man. Maybe I'm trying to think of someone like really like left field that would just like completely come out of nowhere and surprise you, but I can't I can't really think of anyone else that's kind of like rumored. Like I don't know if you've got someone, but like I said, I can't really think of anyone at the minute.
Well, Charlotte Flair's been announced. I obviously did a video earlier in the month of people that I thought could potentially be surprise entrants and returns for this Royal Rumble match. I'll stick my neck out and say that I think obviously Becky Lynch, I think is going to be the big return. I think Asuka will return here at the Royal Rumble as well. She's been out for quite a while. You wanted something left field. This is going to be my left field one for you. I think Nikki Bella is going to be in the Royal Rumble after that appearance on Raw Netflix. I wouldn't be surprised to see it make that
left field. Really?
Well, you know, it's en route to it's somewhere in the middle, I think. But yeah, I agree with you. Jordan Grace be signed as a full WWE superstar, and I'm going to say Jade Cargill will return in the Royal Rumble as well.
Oh, Masha Slamovich as well. I think he's got a good chance as well. Obviously, being TNA Women's Champion as well.
Absolutely. Well, she has had some interaction with Cora Jade recently, but I do agree with you about TNA involvement in the Royal Rumble. And yeah, we'll be going on to that into the men's as well. So those are a lot of surprise entrants that we feel that potentially could happen. If you had to stick in, you gave quite a few names there. Give me 3 top names that you think definitely will be in there.
So definitely Jordan Grace. Definitely Julia being NXT champion. And I'm gonna say Masha Slamovich. They're the easiest picks, but they're probably the most predictable.
Fair play to you. So I would say Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Jordan Grace. There is a potential, just one more name I'll throw out there, Alexa Bliss, but of course there are rumors going around that she's had her return pulled indefinitely at the moment, so not expected to return at the Rumble. Is that WWE playing with us and it just makes the surprise all the more special? Or is it legit? Time will tell on that one. But I will heed the warning and predict that she will not be there at this present moment. So let's have... Go on.
Yeah, just to add on to Alexa Bliss, I'd say, yeah, hopefully it's a big swerve and they get it all worked out, because it'd be great to see it. Like, dude, I'm the same as you. I want Alexa Bliss back. Bring back the original Alexa Bliss that was like 5-time women's champion.
Absolutely. I also would love to see, you mentioned Jordan Grace. I would love to see like a contract being signed and like Nick Aldis or whoever, and Adam Pearce holding the contracts and saying, thank you, you're now a part of this roster. Go and win the Royal Rumble, just like as a sort of screen thing before she comes through the curtain. I just think that'd be a cool little note, because then that way you know she's there and she's not just NXT, she's Raw, SmackDown. And I think Jordan West is going to be she's going to be a player in WWE. I think she's not going to be someone to be messed around with.
Yeah, I just like she's too good to be on NXT. But like I said previously in other ones we've done, I'd still want her to be on NXT because I want to see Julia versus Jordan Grace. I think it'd be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, dude, if you're going to go with that, that's kind of one of them entrants that's got to be like a number 1 or a number 2. Like, ideally a number 2, probably.
Interesting you mentioned that. Let's have a bit of fun. Should we write these down and put them up together at the same time? Who you think will be number 1 and number 2?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. And while you're all watching, because we're going to have to write these down as well, why don't you type in who you think also will be entering a number 1 and number 2. We'll definitely be putting some up on the screen as well. I also need to get my pen to work to begin with, as NXT is pulling his there for us. NXT, are you ready for us?
Yeah, I can. Like, I've probably spelt the name horrifically wrong, but I'll go with it.
Give us your reveal.
Charlotte Flair and Jordan Grace.
Oh, I like that as a starting 2. I do like that as a starting 2. I've not fully gone for the same, but I have gone for Charlotte Flair, as you've mentioned this. Let's pull up mine there. And I've put Asuka as number 2. So I feel like it's kind of almost like a double return in one. I feel that could be a good, fun way to go. So we'll ask a couple of more fun little questions quickly just before we go on. Who do you think will be the number 30?
For as lazy as it is, probably Nia Jax. But do you know what? Actually, I'm gonna throw it out there, and I'm gonna say I'm going to say Nia Jax will be a late entrant, 27, 28, 29, 30, something like that. And I think she's been number 30 before previously in the last couple of years. So it's almost too easy to pick Nia Jax. So I'm going to say, I don't know, because you're going into Final Four territory. So I will, I'm going to say Becky Lynch, actually. Becky Lynch is going to be number 30.
Interesting. I'm going to go for Jordan Grace to be number 30. I don't know. I just have a feeling that last year she came in at number 5 and then she had a good sort of showing and she went out halfway through the match. I think to make a maximum impact this time, coming at number 30, like you said, be in that Final Four, I think could be quite good indeed. We'll then say who will be the longest in the Rumble this year. Who thinks in the mouse the longest time?
Jordan Grace.
Charlotte
I think
Flair.
she's gonna set both of them. Like I said, I've got them as 1 and 2. I reckon those two will like go the distance this year. Pair of them, like Charlotte, I'm imagining is going to be one of the Final Four.
Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley's early in the Rumble just because they did it last year and it's kind of like, oh, can she do it then from the number 1 spot? You know, they usually do that storyline sometimes, don't they? Most eliminations?
Ooh, I'm going to say Bianca Belair.
Nice. I was tempted to put Bianca towards the start of the Rumble because I think it kind of makes sense for her to come in quite early. But yeah, Bianca Belair is a good shout. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree. I think she'll get the most eliminations, but I think she's going to get eliminated by a returning Jade Cargill.
Ooh, sounds good.
Sounds good indeed. So without further ado, it's time to get writing once again. Who do you think our prediction will beat for the Women's Royal Rumble? As we do that, we're going to ask you to put your predictions up as well. But let's see here what our people are going to say. Sid is actually with the Women's Royal Rumble. I will lose my mind if Tessa Blanchard is in the Rumble. Huge Tessa Blanchard fan. It's also going to wish Flair to win the Rumble. So who is your pick then to win the Women's Royal Rumble?
I won Liv Morgan.
Nice. Tell me more.
I said it before, and I will say it again. Liv Morgan needs the Rumble win to get to WrestleMania because I don't see how Liv gets into a title scene without winning the Royal Rumble. And like I said earlier, she's been the bridesmaid a hell of a lot when it comes to the Royal Rumble. And you know what? If anything, she could be a number 30 that comes out and sneaks at the end. But she's been a number 30 recently as well. But I think it's time Liv Morgan finally gets that win. She's been champion the majority of the year, and she has been a consistent star. And if she is not in the title scene for WrestleMania, I think it will be criminal, and I think she's going to win it.
Interesting. I like the prediction a lot because I actually have her as the runner-up. My pick is going to be. I'm going to try and get this here correctly. Let's do it this side because I keep getting it a bit botched to this side. So there we are. Becky Lynch is my prediction for you. Yeah, I think she's making the return. I think there's a reason they've announced Charlotte Flair ahead of time because it's like, right, Charlotte's coming in. You know she's going to be there. Then now people think, oh, well, she's returning. She'll win the Rumble. And then, oh, big surprise, by the way, Becky's back as well. I think that's the angle I think they're going to go with.
So my only issue is that Becky will then be a 2-time Rumble winner.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a 2-time... I think it's too soon to have a women's superstar win 2 Rumbles. I think you've got to spread these Rumble wins out between people before we can even get close to talking about a second. Like, we've literally just have Cody come off back-to-back Rumble wins. And I'm like, I think, like I said, we haven't had many women's ones. And that's why, I'm not against the idea. But like I said, I think as a second-time Rumble winner, I find it hard to believe. If anything, I think it will be someone that's never won it before, which is why I went with Liv.
I like it. I do like it. The thing is, go on.
I thought you was genuinely going to pick Charlotte Flair because a lot of people have been saying Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship.
Yes.
Charlotte Flair does not need to win the Royal Rumble because Charlotte Flair is going to be on SmackDown. Because Andrade is on SmackDown and they keep the married couples together. Charlotte Flair will probably be runner-up or in Final Four, but I don't think... Like a lot of people, I think she's Bookie's favourites as well to win. And I'm like, she's going to be on SmackDown. She doesn't need to win the Rumble to face Tiffany Stratton. She's going to be on that show anyway.
And this is where I agree with you. And this is why I also say that I think Becky wins the Rumble because, in my humble opinion, last year Becky won the Chamber to get her match against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I think that's the direction they'll go again this year. And then to change things up, we can have Becky win the Rumble. Yes, it's a second-time winner. For the men's, by the way, it was only in the first 4 Rumbles it took to get a 2-time winner, and that was Hulk Hogan,
Wow, I didn't know that.
1990 and 1991.
I did not know
So
that.
we've had like 7, I think, Women's Royal Rumbles at this point, or this will be the 7th. Can't do the maths that quick and wide at this time of night. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's time where they can do a second one if they want to, and they have so many, like Charlotte's won it before, Bianca's won it before, Bayley's won it before, so you have those names in there as well. It would be fun for someone fresh and new to win it, but if Becky wins it here, Charlotte Flair can win the Chamber. That's my sort of looking at it that way, and then Charlotte can earn her match at WrestleMania that way. Yes, I'm not going to be Leo's biggest fan at this moment. I don't think Liv Morgan is getting in that championship match. And does she deserve to? Of course she does. The big thing is, though, is that she's dropped the title now, and unless she wins this match, I don't see where she finds her way back in. And yeah, I don't know. I actually think Liv Morgan could be on SmackDown in the near future. I just feel that some changes could be coming for the Judgment Day as we go into, and that could be its own storyline over the next few months. It's almost as if now that's going to be the focus for Liv Morgan rather than Rhea Ripley, because we've seen it a bunch.
I know what you mean, but again, I'm going back to my prediction that I said we're going to get a triple threat between Becky, Liv, and Rhea at WrestleMania. I just think it would suck to be Liv to not be on the WrestleMania card, or at least be in the championship scene. Like, they can't do every match as a multi-person match, and I'm like, the tag team titles are probably going to be in a ladder match or something of a multi-person match. We're not going to get many other multi-person matches, and so a triple threat kind of makes the sense. And I mean, Becky can always just, like, I don't know, win the Chamber or do whatever to get into that scene. But I just think Liv deserves it, man. I think that's my biggest criticism is, like, yeah, Liv has been runner-up twice. She's gone the distance with Rhea the year Rhea won it. And it's kind of like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And it's kind of like I really want her fortune to change when it comes to Royal Rumbles.
Same. I want the fortune to change as well. I would like to see that triple threat match at WrestleMania, but I don't know. Since the Raw debut on Netflix, I'm starting to feel like it's just going to be Rhea and Becky, but it does make sense for Becky and Liv to have a program between now and WrestleMania as well, which is why I have Liv Morgan as the runner-up. But as a final 4, and I didn't actually mention this before we came on air, final 4. So my final 4 will be Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan as the runner-up, Charlotte Flair, and Jordynne Grace. That's my final 4.
That's my exact same 4, dude. Like, I was like, Jordynne Grace will get in Final 4 because it's her debut and they want to make her look like a complete badass. Charlotte Flair is going to be one of them ones that goes the distance. And, yeah, Becky and Liv, like I said, I have Liv to win it, but that's my Final 4 as well.
Interesting stuff indeed. So that's our thoughts then for the Women's Royal Rumble. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Subscribe if you are new here. And yeah, drop a comment. Leave some comments, because we're going to go to your comments now in the comments below. Ray in the house. Ray, hope you're doing well. Says, will Charlotte Flair come back as a face or a heel? Seems that she does her best work as a heel, in my personal opinion. And the video packages we've seen so far don't suggest face to me, to be perfectly honest.
Charlotte Flair, when do her video packages ever scream face? They always scream, I'm rich, you're poor.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? But hey, there we are. C Nation Dog in House, hope you're doing well. CD says Io Sky wins the Women's Royal Rumble because if it was Charlotte Flair, WWE would have kept it a surprise, but they spoilt it. Kind of agree. That's why I think it's almost a swerve. But Io Sky being mentioned there is a good shout as well. We've not even really mentioned Io at this particular time. I'd like to see Io actually have a long run in the Rumble this year. She's one of those people that for me would be great early doors and to be in the match for like 45 minutes, because she's someone that could carry that match and do well with it.
Yeah, I mean, unless this is the problem, is without having even a whiff of what they're doing at WrestleMania, it's so hard to call. Like, by now, normally every other year, dude, we've done these kind of videos. We kind of get the gist of what the card's going to be. And, like, honestly, apart from what Dirt Sheet's reporting, story-wise, dude, I don't have no idea what this WrestleMania card's going to be. And I'm like, What does Io do at right? What does Io do at Mania? Like, if she wins the Rumble, who's she going for? Rhea? Is she going for like Tiffany Stratton? I just don't know, man. It's so hard to predict, and it's great, but it is a big pain in the backside.
I love it. I love it. The more unpredictable, the better, and that's what I feel makes this the most open season, probably in Rumble. I want to say Rumble
history. The problem as well,
but...
though, is we can't get too hyped for it, because this is the problem where I feel like I'm going to get really hyped up, and I've got a bad, not bad feeling, but like, do you know what I mean? There's that 3% botch chance that, do you know what I mean? The winner is really underwhelming, like a Maxine Dupree, someone who's barely been on TV and ends up winning the Rumble. And I'm like, really? That's the angle they're going for at WrestleMania? Maxine Dupree. Nothing against
I love
her,
all the names you could have thrown
profile.
out. You'll be lucky if she's in it. I think, to be fair, poor Maxine.
Definitely.
Do you reckon she'll be in the middle of the pack somewhere if she comes in? She's got no chance of being at the end.
She's going to be one of the ones that's in for about 2 minutes and get eliminated.
Absolutely. I look forward to my Chelsea Green cameo, though. She's stolen the show almost the last couple of Rumbles, so I'm sure she'll have a great way of being in this Rumble as well. CD says that I think Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch will happen at WrestleMania 41. I think it's a great suggestion there as well, if it doesn't happen before. We've been asked if we're going to be buying WWE 2K25. Are you on the hope of buying it this year?
I wasn't, but then they've made GM mode online, so you can you and 3 friends, so you can do 4-player GM mode online. And it's like, it's the one thing I've been asking for years, and like, without having a whiff of it, I was like, I'm probably not going to get it this year. And they've gone and done that, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy it now, aren't I? Like a typical numpty, I'm going to go out and spend £70 on this game for one mode in particular, and it's just like going to be the bane of my life. But yes, I'm probably going to end up buying it now.
There's actually an excuse that me and you could actually do that GM mode if the online mode actually works.
There we go. Yeah.
Wait and see. Could be something that could come to the channel. I'll have to wait and see. We've got another call for Charlotte Flair to be a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. CD is going to get W2K25, which is good to see. Would you like to see NXT women win the Royal Rumble? Absolutely. NXT in general win the Rumble. I think that's something that's missing. I think that'd be a really big story if they did it one year.
Roxanne Perez is like, do you know what I mean? If you're going to have someone win the Rumble, this year's key to do it, because Roxanne Perez has just come off that great title run. Roxanne Perez wins the Rumble. Little Miss Unknown from NXT, like a lot of people don't know about, and she all of a sudden is in the title scene. She goes up against Rhea Ripley. Yes.
Why have we not mentioned Roxanne Perez's name until now? That is criminal. Criminal. We are still at the like button, but we're it's a bad podcast tonight. Then clearly, no, it's not. I'm
struggling this side, mate. I've got run-ins from my dog, run-ins from my kids. I'm having the worst night here.
At least you're not gone over the top rope yet, though. It sounds like it's a Royal Rumble match your side.
I'm still in.
Yeah. It's still in, which is good to see. Roxanne Perez, though, I think will be the Tiffany Stratton this year. She's going to come into the Rumble and she'll be signed to a Raw SmackDown after this. I wouldn't be surprised if Cora Jade follows her as well.
Well, I don't know. Those two have fallen out on Twitter over the last couple of days, so maybe not.
Maybe not then.
Storylines.
Spoiler alert for those that are just joining us. I've actually not seen all of SmackDown, Saturday night's main event, Raw. So yeah, I'm a little bit out of the loop. Some of these picks are blind tonight. So
3 days to watch it all.
I'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Let's see. Anyway, right, we got Roy in the house. As I phoned up a psychic, the Royal Rumble winners. Said Pete Dunne will win the men's and Zelina Vega will for the women's, and AJ Lee will return. I hope he didn't pay for that psychic. That's all I'm going to ask. I was going to say,
I would ask for your money back with that one.
I would say so, Roy. But you know what? It's good to have you on board, though. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, let's get back into it. And shall we dive in then? Because we've done one side of the Rumbles. Let's do the other side. Let's do the men's Royal Rumble match. Arguably one of the most star-studded men's Royal Rumble matches in history. We have the return of John Cena. CM Punk is in there. Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Seth Freakin Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, Penta, Chad Gable, Bron Breakker, and Carmelo Hayes. What a lineup. And former Royal Rumble winners in this match alone include John Cena, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, and Shinsuke Nakamura. 6 former Royal Rumble winners. And like we said, there's a host of main event talent in that pool there.
How many events is that announced so far?
That means I need to count there. So this means you're going to get this screen just for one more second. You're going to see my head bowing down. So we got 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 names have been announced for this match at the time of recording. So half of the field is there, not the rest.
I just genuinely hope come SmackDown they don't announce the next 10. I'm just like, because they have a habit of doing it years before. Like, I think one year they'd been like 5, and then come SmackDown, like another 20 announced, and I'm like, oh, you've just killed it.
Let's hope they don't do that, but yeah, it should be a fun time. Let's dive into speculation station and tell you what, Jill, when we talk about surprise entrance, I got one thrown at us nice and early before we even got to the men's match. I'm going to throw it in there now from Ray. Josh Alexander being a name potentially to be in the Royal Rumble. I love that shout. The TNA merger.
It's a good shout, but I think we are going to get one TNA entrant or both Rumbles, and that's it, unfortunately. As much as I'd love to see Josh Alexander coming in, I think there's only one man from TNA that's coming in for this Rumble, and that man is one Joe Hendry.
I was going to say, can you say his name so he appears? Yeah, Joe Hendry, I agree with you. He's definitely going to be the one TNA World Champion, so I think he will certainly be there.
His pop is going to be so good. Like, I genuinely cannot wait for the pop that he gets. Like, if he's even in it, because obviously he's not announced, and we do have 15 names undeclared. But dude, the pop that guy will get will be special.
It will be spectacular if it happens, and just see, because this is going to be more of a hardcore fan base as well. Those tickets ain't cheap. There's going to be a hardcore fan base with this one. They're going to know Joe Hendry. They're going to be waving the arms in there as well. They'll be singing along with the song. It just feels like it'd be a very special moment. Like, you know, it's just, I don't know, TNA's had an incredible 2024. So has Joe Hendry. And it's just, I don't know, just solidifies that partnership. The Royal Rumble is like that one place where you can just see that crossover with TNA getting to main roster screen time. And yeah, it's going to be special. I'm confident that one is going to happen. I'm not confident this one is going to happen, but I genuinely want to talk about it because I just, for me, feel like it just would be an incredible moment if we get Matt Cardona have a return entry into the Royal Rumble, not as a full-time superstar because he's the indie god, but Zack Ryder is dead. If we just had always read it and it's Matt Cardona, I just think with Chelsea Green being in WWE, with him to have his moment of just like, here's some credit for everything you've done in the indie scene, coming in for one night only. I just think now feels like a really good time because Matt Cardona has done the indie scene now for like the last 4 or 5 years, and he's absolutely killed it. He's been like, you know, king of the death match. He's been champion of every indie promotion you can probably name. I just feel like it feels like a good moment where you could just have that gratitude that everything he's done, come back and just have a nice little moment in the Rumble.
Don't get me wrong. I think the shout of a free agent coming in, I think is really exciting. Like someone who isn't affiliated. Like I know, obviously, Hendry may come in from TNA, but I know what you mean. Like having Cardona come in, who isn't by any means affiliated with any company, I think that adds something to WWE in terms of like it just makes the Rumble even more special. That we've got a guy here that isn't actually signed to anyone. This is a genuine free agent signing. Like almost like when Ray come in. Do you remember the pop Rey Mysterio coming when he wasn't signed to WWE? We was talking about it on our Mount Rushmore of WWE surprise returns and entrants. And you said Rey Mysterio and like the return he got. And he wasn't even signed by the company. Matt Cardona would be exactly along the same lines, I think, as that return.
I think it'd get a massive pop. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be like one of the bigger pops of the night, to be fair, if it was to go down. This one's not going to happen, but I just want to have a bit of fun. So allow me to have some fun. 10 years ago, Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in 2015, and everyone was outraged because one superstar was never eliminated from that match. Just with the fact that it's 10 years on to like the, you know, as it is, I would just love to see Curtis Axel come in and just be like, I was never eliminated from the Rumble, run in and get thrown out.
I respect it. I think it's more of a it's a nostalgia pop, but it's just. I just don't think it's high profile enough, and I think that they're going with such a stacked roster of superstars for these Rumbles that even like honestly, I think even if you put like Pat McAfee in it this year, I think that's going to piss me off. Like I really don't want a spot being taken up by a commentator. Like that's really honestly one thing I don't want this year is just like half-assed Rumble entrance.
Unfortunately, I think Pat McAfee is going to happen because it's Indianapolis. That's where he did his NFL career. It's Indiana. So I think the most likely. But what do you reckon the chances are that Corey Graves is the reason he's eliminated?
Oh, dude, it would be so good. It would be so good. Like, I know he's back on NXT now doing commentary, but it would be so funny and so entertaining. It was almost like you're hopefully, like, if it does happen, I want a story out of this now. This has to be a thing. They can't just do it and then drop the ball on it. But, like it's probably not going to happen, but it would be so good, man.
It would be proper cool. I'll give you a few more names and then I'll switch over to you. I'm going to go with, first of some NXT. I think Trick Williams is I think almost a certainty to be in this Royal Rumble match. He's the one that's been the face of NXT for the last calendar year, so I think he's certainly one. Yep. In the comments, we've had the name Obafemi mentioned to us. I'm going to try and find that comment just so we can put it up there for everyone to see. Unfortunately, I can't find it quick enough. But your thoughts of Obafemi potentially being in the Rumble?
Dude, that guy is going to be a superstar when he hits main roster. Like, I find it very hard that guy won't be WWE champion within a year of joining the main roster. This time next year, when he comes in, honestly, you want an early prediction for a Rumble winner next year, Obafemi. Obafemi comes in, makes his main roster debut in the Rumble, and then main events WrestleMania and wins a world title. Like, how fantastic. If you want to make a big name out of someone, and dude, this geezer's got everything. Like, even for someone who has a thick accent, like, it's like it just almost suits him down to the ground. Like, his representation, the music is fantastic. His aesthetic of what he looks like. How even like on NXT last night of him wearing a leather jacket and just looking like this massive powerhouse, and the way he handled Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Just genuinely, the guy's gonna be a massive star.
Absolutely. Quick disclaimer, by the way, every speculation of return and surprise entrance we talk about on this video, we're not assuming all of them are in the Royal Rumble match. Just throwing it. Yeah. We're speculating, and then we'll give it like a final couple picks. So I've got a few more I'm going to mention. Then I'll pass over to NXT Steve, because I'm sure he'd have some different ones to me. The Hardy Boys. We mentioned TNA, that'd be the only one, but these have WWE history. The merger's there. That's something that's familiar, especially if Joe Hendry doesn't happen. That would be one that would make a lot of sense, surely.
Yeah, I think if anything, they'd do Nick Nemeth rather than the Hardys, because the Hardys are two spots, and it's two guys that aren't like. We had this discussion when we did the 2000 Royal Rumble watch along, and the biggest problem with that was having loads of people in it that generally weren't going to win it. And it's like, I know obviously you have to have some people in it that can't win it, but the Hardys aren't going to win. And that's that would be my problem with it. Like, I don't get me wrong, I think for a pop it'd be great, but I think Nick Nemeth would actually be a bigger deal than the Hardys. Interesting.
I will mention his name. It's not going to be popular. Bill Goldberg, a former world champion.
Dude, I hope he actually genuinely is in the Rumble. I really want Goldberg to be in the Rumble. I think literally left field winner for the Rumble is Goldberg.
No, don't say that.
Honestly, dude, long shot, 1,000-to-1 odds, Goldberg to win the Rumble. Like, he's not my pick, but honestly, if you're going to pick someone that's left field, Goldberg is the one.
Just bring him in to set him up who his final opponent's going to be. That's all I want in there. Couple of spears, couple of jackhammers, throw the purple out. Then he gets thrown out by whoever he's going to be facing.
But that's what I mean. But he's like, Gunther doesn't have a WrestleMania opponent. Goldberg wins the Rumble and faces Gunther.
You found NXT's next TikTok video. That's all I'm going to say.
100%. You weren't expecting that, was you?
I did not expect that. I can tell you. I'm intrigued to see what our comments say about that.
Definitely. Like, it would be like, I know I just sit there literally minutes ago and said I really hope it's not an underwhelming winner, But like, I genuinely want Goldberg to be like the long shot winner of this Royal Rumble, even for as bad as it sounds. Dude, it would be so funny and so good. He just comes in, spears everyone, and that's it. He wins.
I don't know. I'm not happy. I tell you what, as we mentioned the name Goldberg, because a lot of people speculate Gunther will be that final match. Would you be interested in Goldberg versus John Cena, a match that's never happened?
Gunther versus John Cena or Goldberg?
Oh, sorry, Goldberg versus John Cena. Sorry.
No. If this had been 10 years ago, sure, but not anymore. No, like Goldberg's going to come in. I honestly don't think. Like I said, Goldberg is my long shot winner of the Rumble, but I don't even think he gets his title match at WrestleMania. I think that's a SummerSlam job, that one.
Fair enough. Last shout, Randy Orton. We mentioned him earlier in the video. Probably more likely to be involved with Cody and KO, but hey, look, everyone likes singing that song now, don't they? Everyone was singing Voices. Would it be interesting to see him make that return in the Rumble?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think KO's going to be in it because he's inevitably going to lose to Cody, and yeah, that's going to be Randy's plot and storyline for WrestleMania. So I definitely think he'll make an appearance.
Fantastic. Any names you'd like to add, and we can do our actual predictions.
Biggie is a good shout. If it depends on if he's fit. I've seen a couple of suggestions of like Wade Barrett. I thought bring back Bad News Barrett and have him come in and just having Wade Barrett wrestle again, I think would be great. What was the other one I just see a minute ago as well that I thought was a good shout? Give me 2 seconds. And I said Nick Nemeth. I think that was probably the one I was thinking of. I mean, the only other... we've pretty much said all of them. Like I said, I think Wade Barrett, or Stu Bennett, or however he wants to go by, I think would be a great shout. But he'd be on there with the same as Pat McAfee. I don't want him doing it. I just thought it'd be, and again, a very nostalgia pop. But yeah, Big E, depending on if Kofi and Xavier are in the Rumble, because no spoilers, but they have a fantastic showing on Raw this week.
Interesting.
Like storyline is great, but it's a good old time for them. But yeah, I think that'll be the only one I can say.
Interesting. Okay, so that's I gave about 1 million names, so apologies. Probably stole some thunder on that. Give me 3 potential surprise entrants that you would predict that you could see happening. Like top 3.
Joe Hendry, I can definitely see as one. Oh God, my brain's going blank now. I think Goldberg. Do you know what? I'm going to say it anyway. Goldberg, I think he's a definite I can see happening. I think even if he's only in there like. No, it's probably not going to happen. I'm stupid. No, I can't say Goldberg. Unless Gunther's in the ring with him, it doesn't make sense. And Gunther's not going to be in the Rumble. I will say Joe Hendry. I'll say Randy Orton is a definite to be in the Rumble. And I'm going to say Oberfemi because he's NXT champion.
I like it. While I agree with all 3 of those names, I just want to give a little bit of difference. I'll say Joe Hendry. I will say Joe Hendry. I will say Trick Williams from NXT will be the one to go in from NXT. And whilst I agree Randy Orton will be in there, Pat McAfee will be a name that I would imagine will be a shoe-in. My top pick will be Jeff Hardy. I think rather than both Hardys, I'm going to say Jeff Hardy appears in the Royal Rumble match.
Oh, I did hear. I saw a video. When was it? Must have been earlier on today. Basically, keep watching NXT after it finishes because there's a thing on it where they might bring back, the old version 1 Matt Hardy.
Fun. I like that.
And that music is one of the best music they've ever done. Oh, yeah.
Truly is. Truly is. Aleister Black, is there any chance it will happen?
As much as I would love it, apparently he's still contractually obliged to AEW till the middle of March, middle of February, end of February or something like that. So as much as it would be great, I just don't think he's out of his contract with AEW, but that would be another good shout.
Does sound like that would be a good possibility. Okay,
so SmackDown either way, because Zelina Vega's now been traded over to SmackDown, so we already know where he's going if he resigns.
There we are. We do know indeed. Last time he was on SmackDown, he was waiting for someone to knock on his door. Who will be your number 1 and number 2 entrants? Feel free as well in the comments to get involved on this one. We'd like some interaction here with this one. Who is number 1, number 2? Love this one. I mean, it's almost self-explanatory. Tell me more.
John Cena is trying to win the Rumble to win that 17th world title. They're going to make him do it the hard way, and they're going to make him try and go the distance and go from number one. And then Joe Hendry, because I want Joe Hendry to win. I want John Cena to fight Joe Hendry at some point this year for a TNA championship match. And I think that this is where you start that. And you have to give Joe Hendry the emphasis and the time to come out with his music on a microphone and cut a promo on John Cena. I want that match to happen this year.
I love it. I have John Cena at number 17, just because I think that he will go for the 17th world title. I think John's going to come into the match at a time where I think the ring will probably clear a bit. I could see him being in the ring with someone like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, for example. That's when you can get an R-Truth entrance. So you can have R-Truth finally team up with his childhood hero, John Cena. They can do some five-knuckle shuffles. Then that point where they're eliminated, Truth can sort of celebrate. Cena eliminates Truth. Cena's left in the ring alone. Truth understands it. That's when you get Joe Hendry come out following that. That would be what I would do if I could fantasy book it. But it's only if I could fantasy book it and you just see John Cena watching as that sort of entrance happens. I think that could be quite fun.
Yeah.
So
I want that to happen at some point this year.
I think it would be pretty darn sweet. So yeah, I was considering something. I think I'm gonna make a change, to my options here. So I'm gonna change my number 2. I will explain what my number 2 was, but I'll tell you why I've changed it in a moment. But I'm gonna go for this instead. So my number 1 is going to be Seth freaking Rollins, and number 2 is going to be Sami Zayn. 2 very good friends, and they're going to have to be enemies to try and win the Royal Rumble match. Now, I originally wrote Roman Reigns down because I thought, what a great way to kick off the Rumble with Rollins and Reigns. He doesn't almost get bigger than that, but I can't see Roman coming in, and he could do an hour. But I just don't see it. Well, I can see Seth being that journeyman and going through. And Sami, if he's going to win a world title, to have to do it from the start and to feel like he can get near the end as well. I feel like that could be a nice little compelling Rumble story that they could do.
Make KO number 3 as well.
Oh, do it early. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Do it early. Could be quite fun. Because also that dynamic as well. Is Sami really on my side? And if not, is there some teasers with Seth and KO? We keep talking about this Seth, KO, Drew faction thing. What if they played that in the Rumble and they were all 3 in the ring at one point?
There you go. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see that faction happen again. It's just whether they pull the trigger on it or not. And they do tease it like this weird amalgamation of the 3 of them, and how Drew is like fighting Seth, but yet trying to tell him it's really psychologically manipulative and almost twisted in a way. But yeah, I mean, dude, throw KO in there at number 3, and yeah, dude, I'm glad you said that, having Seth at number 1, because yeah, Roman doesn't kind of make sense, but I see what you say. I see where you're going with that.
Absolutely. I love, by the way, we have a Tammy shout also said Seth and Roman. There's the first 2. I like that idea. Nubis says also John Cena, Joe Hendry. CD, I like this. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams to kick off the match.
That's not a bad show.
That's a fun little shout, that one. Really fun little shout. Just to go through some of the surprise ones, by the way, as well. Tammy's gone for Corey Graves to be in the Rumble. CD's gone for Obafemi. Just saying, he's his favorite NXT wrestler. Lesnar is a shout that's been made there.
He, as far as I'm aware from what I've seen today, he is out of every plan for WrestleMania because of everything that's still going on with the Janelle, I forget her name, the lawsuit with man. So Lesnar's out of everything.
I've actually just noticed though that CD's actually added this saying that Obafemi is the next Brock Lesnar. So actually, there was no link there of Brock Lesnar there for that point. So my apologies, CD. So that's my fault going backwards in the comments, not from literally the top down. Goldberg versus Bron Breakker for Goldberg's last match. That's a fun shout.
No. Look, dude, they've already teased what Bron's doing at WrestleMania. I won't spoil it for you because you haven't seen Raw.
There you go. Temple says Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, Nick Nemeth, Matt Cardona, Josh Alexander, Jeff Hardy guesses a surprise entrance there. Loving that. I love this, by the way, from CD. McAfee versus Corey Graves in the leather match for the custody of Michael Cole at WrestleMania 41.
That's brilliant.
I'm going to star that comment.
That's some fantastic booking there. I would love to see that play out.
Imagine if Curtis Axel had an interaction with Uncle Howdy.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Again, another team that had a banging entrance music. That would be funny.
Absolutely. Just shout out, by the way, because Temple plays. Good to see in house. He said this will be a hard year to predict with all the star power. Completely agree with that, Temple. And there's a reason we're delaying it a bit here. I'm not going to lie. We're trying to make those final decisions. But let's go into some of those, by the way. Who will be the longest in the Rumble? For me, I'm going with Seth freaking Rollins.
John Cena.
John Cena.
John Cena's I'm going the distance, and he's going to be final four.
I like it. Most eliminations?
Obafemi.
Okay. I'm going with John Cena. I think John Cena is going to find his mojo in this Rumble. He's going to eliminate the most people.
Yeah. Good shout.
Final four.
So I'm going to go with the four people they've probably teased the most, which is CM Punk, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and I'll say Drew McIntyre.
Interesting. It almost was looking like we're going to have the agreement of that for CM Punk.
I think of a fourth.
Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Roman Reigns.
That's the way. That's the correct answer. Yes, Roman Reigns. Yes, replace Drew with Roman. Yes, apologies.
Yeah, that's all right.
I could think of the fourth one off the spur of the moment.
That's fair. That's fair. It's easily done. So. We'll be going back to the comments, don't you worry. But you're going to need to get involved in this moment, because this is the time that we kind of need to kind of stick our neck out and make the prediction of who's actually going to win the Royal Rumble. So we've delayed it as long as we can. We said at the start of the stream we've got no bloody idea. So now we have to come up now with who we think is going to win the men's Royal Rumble match. So NXT, do you want to go first? Seth Rollins, love it. So, explain to me why Seth Rollins will win the Royal Rumble.
Because I don't see what Gunther has planned for WrestleMania. I'm mostly, like everyone else who's talked about winning this Rumble and said they're going after Cody Rhodes, they've all got story arcs that lead them to other matches at WrestleMania. And just different matches in general, and I think whoever the winner is facing Gunther this year, which is why I will rule out John Cena, I will rule out CM Punk, I will rule out Roman Reigns, because I think they've all got something else planned for WrestleMania. Like their story at the minute leads them in different paths to different matches for that weekend, whereas Gunther doesn't have anything specifically, which is why I also say Goldberg is my left field long shot winner of the Rumble, because Goldberg's final match could be a world title match at WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? Have Gunther retire him. Say, look, if you want to come for my title, you've got to put something on the line as well. Put your career on the line. But that's what I mean. You don't need a Rumble win to do that with Goldberg. But I think the Rumble winner is going to be facing Gunther this year. And Seth is just the one, man. Like, so when he lost that title to Drew then loses it to Priest. Seth's never actually had a rematch for that world title. So I think that going up against Gunther, then this leads into the whole CM Punk's now got something to chase, because Seth Rollins has something he wants. And I just think the winner this year will be facing Gunther.
I think you make a fantastic shout, and to be honest, I'm going to say that I half agree with your last sentence, because
I'll tell you what, the only thing that it means it's probably not going to happen is because I very much doubt Gunther will main event night 2 of WrestleMania. It might be the night 1 main event, but normally the men's winner normally main events night 2, and that's the only thing is like if Seth wins, but again, I don't want Seth being in the main event match until he fights Punk next year, which is the other reason. But I'm going to go with Seth just because I don't think Seth being in a main event is a bigger deal as what it is to CM Punk. So that's another reason why I've gone with it.
Okay, interesting. So to go back to your sentence, you said you thought the winner of the Royal Rumble would go to take on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and I half agree with that sentence. I agree that the winner of the Royal Rumble will go for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, I don't have Gunther going into WrestleMania as the champion.
Oh dear.
So my winner of the Royal Rumble is not John Cena. I'll explain why, not in a minute. I've gone for Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble. 10 years since he's won the Rumble. This is why I made the Curtis Axel joke earlier on, because it's the same Royal Rumble. I don't think people will boo this one as much as they did the last time. I am going to predict that Roman Reigns and CM Punk are going to be the final two in the Rumble. I think the Roman Reigns will get the better of CM Punk on the night. And I think that will lead CM Punk to call in his favor from Paul Heyman, because he wants to main event WrestleMania. He still didn't get that Royal Rumble win. CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship to be signed, sealed, delivered, thanks to the wise man for Elimination Chamber. CM Punk to defeat Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship, and he declares that he will win that title so that he can have the match with Roman Reigns. He almost is calling Reigns, while, you know, as much as Cody will be calling for Reigns as well to do this one more time. But I think Punk will get the job done. So it will be Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm predicting John Cena will win the Elimination Chamber and will take on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, because the reason John Cena should not win the Royal Rumble, and Steve, you've said this before, I completely agree with you. John Cena needs to have a journey. It is a story. It is the farewell tour. It is boring if he wins straight away the Rumble when he's not won a match for a long, long time. He needs to be sitting in the aisleway, disappointed, hurt. You need to see the WrestleMania sign behind him as he looks deflated, and he needs to make a comeback after that. And his vow is to get into the Elimination Chamber. Raw and Netflix gives him a qualifying match. He finally wins that first match to get into the chamber, and he'll find a way to win the chamber match. And do you know what could be quite fun? John Cena can only get one win in that chamber, and it's the last person that he has to pin rather than the other people. So it's kind of that thing of, have I still got it, going for that 17th world title.
I love it, but here's where you've got to sway me on it. Why doesn't Roman challenge Cody? Give me the reason why Roman challenges Gunther instead of Cody.
Well, because CM Punk will be quite vocal about what he wants, and CM Punk will find a way, because you have these, everyone goes on every show. Nothing matters with the draft at the minute. We don't have to take the draft seriously for the next 3 months. Or even after. I love, by the way, the amount of comments, by the way, coming in. Thank you. We'll go to all of them. But yeah, I do think that Punk will be vocal and he'll call for his shot. Now, I will say, I can't give credit to, I saw this too on Twitter, but there was someone that posted that what if actually CM Punk's favor was that though him and Roman were the last two, Paul Heyman turned on Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble and aligns with CM Punk, and CM Punk wins the Rumble. Now you could get heel CM Punk. That's always fun. CM Punk is always great on the mic with that. But I just feel like that combination is going to be cheered. I think people they're not gonna give it the heel heat it should deserve. I just feel in that way it makes more sense. The Roman gets the best on this night. He deems he will challenge Cody. However, I think when it comes to the first Raw or SmackDown, before Roman can call Cody out, just before it's going to happen, maybe Gunther interferes. And just before he's going to make that decision, CM Punk comes out and says, look, I spoke to Paul Heyman. I've got what I need coming. I'm going to get this. You hold that decision to Elimination Chamber because I'm going to win that title. And you can just do something with it, because what if, for example, CM Punk wins the title, Roman still has the intentions of Cody, but gets hit there with a GTS. CM Punk makes it personal. You're my key to the WrestleMania main event. If I face you, Roman, I'm main eventing. If I face anybody else, I'm not main eventing. I'm not letting another year slip. And that's why I believe that's going to happen.
That's a really good point. The fact that Roman has a golden ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. So he has something that Punk must chase. And for him to be in that main event, to guarantee his main event, he has to win a title. And obviously Gunther's is the only viable one. And the Heyman favor pulled in, and the Heyman favor being telling Roman to choose CM Punk over Cody Rhodes, and they main event night 2 of WrestleMania, is genius. That is a really good shout. I actually like now I'm sold that Roman Reigns will win now, because that's the only logical story that makes sense to me. Like I said, mine didn't really make sense. I just basically went on the basis that Gunther doesn't have anyone to face. I thought Seth, like I said, Seth never really got a rematch for the title when he lost it, and it was kind of like giving Gunther Seth at WrestleMania is kind of a big match, but yours, in terms of storyline, makes a hell of a lot more sense than mine. Can I change my answer?
You can change your answer if you want. It's time to write it down. We have an eraser on those things. But hey, even if it makes sense, it doesn't mean it'll happen. It doesn't mean it'll happen
That's
at all.
fantastic. That's so good, man. This is why I love talking to you, man, because you just, like, there's all these pieces and you just, like, mesh them together and it works, and I love it.
We'll see if it happens or not. But thank you for the kind words, though. I do appreciate it, as always. But let's go into the comments and see what they've got to say, because I can tell you what, NX Steve, there was over 40 comments while we've been talking. So we've got some stuff to get through. We're going to power through. CD says, I got Carmelo Hayes being the Iron Man. That's why I have him as number 1. And Trick Williams then can get that full entrance. And to be fair, I like the idea of the full entrance for Trick Williams. That's quite cool.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
We got asked, who is a Royal Rumble winner that you hated? For Mr. Sims UK. I'm going with Mr. Sims. Says that men's and women's Bianca Belair and Alberto Del Rios was the ones he hated. I'm going to say that Bianca Belair, I was quite a fan of at the time. I would just say that I'll say Alberto Del Rio because I kind of agree with it. But I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair, the year that Shayna Baszler should have won it in 2020.
Yeah, the reason why I'm going to agree with you and say Charlotte Flair is because they should have held off Charlotte's for 2 years and done Charlotte's on the anniversary of her father winning in '92, and that would have been, that would have her come in at number 1, because I think Flair comes in at 2, doesn't he, in '92, and there would have been a whole monarch about can Charlotte do one up her father and go the distance from number 1 and win the Rumble. I think it would have been a much better story. So I'm going to agree with you and say Charlotte Flair. Men's one. I mean, I'm trying to think of some bad ones. Like, you can't really say the early ones because they didn't invent the title shot at WrestleMania. So, Del Rio wasn't a bad one at the time because, like, he was quite a high-profile character. I'm just generally trying to think, was there anyone that won it? It's probably actually got to be Roman Reigns winning 10 years ago, if honest. I think that's got to be the worst one. Because he was so hated and so forced down our throats. And like they even throw The Rock out there to try and like, oh yeah, this is my cousin. Like he's a real big star. And like, yeah, I'm going to say Roman Reigns from 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, it's a fantastic shout. Roman Reigns, it was one of the worst Rumbles ever. There was a temptation to try and do a watch along for that Rumble, but I'm pretty sure not many people want to put themselves through it again. So we didn't go with it in the end. But yeah, that's one. Randy Orton 2017, I remember being very disappointed with. I felt very underwhelmed on that Rumble, particularly when he won it.
Batista on the run to Batista on his return as well. That's a pretty bad winner as well. Although it worked out okay in the end by WrestleMania. No, in fact, no. I'd still say Roman Reigns is worse because we got that series of Roman Reigns main event in WrestleManias, and it starts with that one. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely indeed. Mike, there's quite a few comments here. So Mike Hawks Long, thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So surprise entrant Moose TNA would be awesome for him. I think that would be an awesome one indeed as well. I might do the Moose. I think that could be quite fun as well. He's on also as well for Cena or Cody for most of the limbs. Cody in the Rumble, must have KO winning the title. Love that idea there. The Bounty Hunter in the house, hope we're doing well. Most of the messages, Jacob Fatu. Now that is an excellent shout.
Best answer. That's the best answer there. That's the honestly, with how you haven't seen Saturday Night Main Event yet, but how they present him on Saturday Night Main Event, he's gonna tear through that Rumble. That's a really good shout.
I've actually read about it. I know that Jacob Fatu destroyed Braun Strowman. I haven't seen how. Look forward to seeing it, but yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do. It says, okay, I want to see Joe Chester comment the Royal Rumble. I thought we could say for a second I want to see him in it. I was like, I'm not sure that one's going to happen. But there you go.
It's going to be Michael Cole. It's probably going to be Michael Cole and Pat McAfee and possibly Stu Bennett the whole way through the show.
Absolutely. Sid says John Cena will win the Royal Rumble. We've got Bounty Hunter. I like this. Seth Rollins and CM Punk do a Bret Hart and Lex Luger from 1994. Both go over the top rope at the same time.
As much as it'd be like, as much as it makes sense because it's a good way to get them both in the main event. Actually, do you know what? Dude, this guy's on fire, man. That's 2 answers in a row where he's come up with absolute smashers. Because these guys both want to be in the main event, so you have them both win the Rumble. That's a great answer.
Well, in the modern day, one could go for one title and one could go for the other. So that also makes sense as well. But and 20 years ago was the last time it happened. Of course, with Batista and John Cena in 2005, that led to someone that's no longer with WWE breaking both of his quads, walking to the ring. Back then, though, they made them restart the match. So, but I'd see what they would do here. Be interesting.
They'd have a match at Chamber.
Mike says John Cena or The Rock or Punk's has got a few selections there, but no one has mentioned The Rock.
So maybe we didn't bring up The Rock. Yeah, I was going to say, we didn't talk about The Rock at all, man. Like, I don't think he's going to be in the Rumble at all, unfortunately.
But if he is, surely it's Roman Reigns he goes for, and that would make the whole null and void for my argument, because it would be him eliminating Roman Reigns. Could you see The Rock actually not even being a part of the Rumble, but still getting in to eliminate Roman Reigns because he wants now the Uber file himself, because he's proclaimed himself as a chief now?
Again, story-wise, it'd have to make sense. I mean, yeah, sure, they could do it, but I think it would make more sense for him to be an entrant. Unless they get, like, as I said, unless Roman Reigns is the last person in before the final entrant. Like, everyone, literally, Roman Reigns is the last man standing. Entrance 30 comes out, and it's The Rock. It's the only way you'll do it.
Absolutely. I love the way this has been put by Mike, but to be fair, he's not wrong in my opinion with this one. Someone old wins the Rumble this year. Look, it makes the most sense. I guess to take away old, someone established wins the Rumble this year. It's the first, if you're going outside the United States, which is 80% of the population who are going to be watching this, it's going to be an established name. It's the first Netflix pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you want to call it. So they want an established name that all these people watching the Rumble for the first time. WWE's audience is going to be very different in 12 months, and they need to see established names to be hooked to begin with to help build the newer names.
It'll be interesting to see the viewing figures for Royal Rumble.
I think they're going to be very, very good. It'll be very good. Alyssa in the house, how are we doing? Alyssa's been a while. It says Liv Morgan's better than Rhea Ripley. Don't like how they're booking Liv Morgan. She deserves better. She's Big Dog Roman Reigns doesn't care about her. I don't know about why Roman Reigns is linked there, but anyway, Liv Morgan, everyone talking about how awful the gatekeeping with Liv and Dom, which is easy for me to say, and that seems to be an interesting story.
I'm in the same scenario. I've said Liv needs to be in that title scene.
She does need to be in the title scene, indeed. CD says CM Punk wins the Men's Royal Rumble. Seth Freakin Rollins wins the Chamber. There's a bonus prediction for you. Thank you, Seth. Do you know what? We love the bonus predictions there. So that just makes things a little bit extra special. And do you know what's even more fun? It's because we'll do Elimination Chamber next month. We'll see if that prediction stands true. Prediction here from Aries predicting Cody's. I guess, is that to win the title?
I would say Cody versus KO. He's predicting Cody.
Let's see. Oh, Cody Dean to debut in WWE. Interesting. That's where he was going with that one.
Can't say I even know who that is off the top of my head.
Former TNA wrestler, which has actually been put there for you. But yeah, he had a faction. I didn't realize he's actually left TNA. But yeah, he's a decent hand.
We spoke previously. I thought Santana Marella released. Apparently he hasn't. He's still on the books at TNA, so that's a plus.
Absolutely.
Just sorry, before you go on, did you see what they've done with the Digital Media Championship on TNA, by the way?
No, I have not. Let's take this comment away for a second.
So who was PCO married to on TNA?
Wasn't it Steph DeLander?
Yeah, she's got the Digital Media Championship in the divorce. So she's Digital Media Champion. How clever. Like, honestly, I didn't want to bring it back, but I rate that for how they brought that back onto TV.
It's creative, to be fair. I will give them that.
Good.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
Still not had time to see Genesis as criminal, but we'll get around to it. I do promise. NXT, apparently Seth Rollins did get a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank last year, but did get screwed over, so he didn't have a fair shot. So in other words, half and half, I guess, with that one.
That's why I need CD here to correct me.
CD's are good. He's a fact machine. I like that. I like that. He's there for us. Temple Plays says Drew McIntyre wins this year. He got his moment. Screwed at Mania last year due to Priest cashing in. Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at Mania this year, to be fair, would not be against that.
That's not a bad shout, but I can't see. I don't know, but it's possible. Like, Drew still needs that moment in front of a crowd, you know? That'd be really nice. Like, all of the 4.5 minutes that he got at, or whatever it was at Mania last year. But yeah, I think they're going to save that for a UK pay-per-view, man.
The thing is that I really love the idea for that. It just, again, everyone's got so many different ideas and options of what's going to happen, and I can see all of them have their plausible possibilities, and that's why I think it's quite cool. Even if I go in a different direction personally, I still respect that.
Have you been online on any socials today?
I have a little bit. I may have seen the headliner for the Hall of Fame this year.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say, did you see who's supposed to be headlining? Yeah.
Good old Triple H.
Yeah. And to be fair, I don't blame him, because it's kind of like, look, I'm now running this business. I should be in the Hall. Well, he should be in the Hall of Fame anyway. It's kind of a case of get him out of the way, and then going forward, he never has to be worried about being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
I think it's a cool thing. I did worry that he wouldn't get his moment in Hall of Fame, so I like the way that it's apparently been done. Apparently, like Stephanie and a couple of others surprised him with this, which I thought that's a really cool little thing to do. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of it. Yeah. Cena wins in Toronto. Completely agree with that. It says yes. I'm guessing my city. I'm guessing he's going with there. CD thinks John Cena faces Logan Paul at WrestleMania 41. Cena will win his 17th world title at SummerSlam. Maybe John Cena wins King of the Ring to get to that point. Maybe Money in the Bank.
Logan Paul is a good shout for going the distance as well this year as well. I think, like, with him now being full-time WWE superstar, I reckon he puts on a showcase and goes the distance in the Rumble.
That's a very good call. To be fair, Logan Paul like that, and that's a very good point, because as well, like, he's a recognizable name, even though he's not an established like main eventer. He's established with a worldwide audience. For him to be early in the Rumble, have a long run in there, I think does make a lot of sense. So nice. Mike is going to be in row 11 for the chamber floor seats. We'll be looking out for you, Mike. Nice. Get a sign there for us. Yes, make sure we can see you. Give the stream a thumb up. Thank you so much, Roy. Yes, we appreciate it. Do hit that thumb up. It really helps this channel more than you could ever imagine. And subscribe if you're new here as well. Keep an eye, because we do regular content on this channel. We'd like to keep it even more regular. With your like and your support, more content is always promised and on the way for you. Ericson is saying that Cody Deaner would enter the Rumble, but not win the Rumble. Of course, I think that makes logical sense, at that point. And some Cena there with some Canada flags, and big up Canada. A lot of love for Canada, especially in the wrestling market. Great wrestlers over the years, and of course, great fans as well. Thank you for the support as well. It says great show, great talks. Your guys' channel will grow. You guys are good. Thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate it. We've got here, Roy says, do you think that do you have to pay extra for the Royal Rumble on Netflix? No extra payment. No.
It's a standard subscription package, gets you the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely, which is great to see. Temple says Cena, Drew, Punk, Rollins as the final four. Roman gets eliminated by The Rock, who is the 31 entrant. Like that. Just he's running the show.
Do you know what? That's actually really clever. The fact that 1 year we get a 31st entrant, and it's The Rock, because it's like, I'm the boss. I decide how many entrants are in the Royal Rumble. I like it.
I like it as well. I think it's a good way. Triple H is just too busy getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to run this shit.
Damn right.
Love it. It's really good. Really clever. CD says, I think Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I can see that match happening as well. There's so many possibilities. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like this is the problem. Like, you read the dirt sheets, and your brain is kind of really set on who's facing who, and it's like that's why it's really hard to pick the winner as well.
Absolutely. Temple suggesting Cena and Orton being the final two in the chamber to get to Mania.
Oh,
I like it.
And then KO cost him. KO cost him Andy.
Royal Rumble 92. Ric Flair was number 3.
I knew it was early.
It was certainly early indeed. It's my favorite Rumble. Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble in 2022 just annoyed me. He didn't need it. CD, that is a really good shout. Really good shout. And do you know what? For the women's as well, Ronda Rousey, that 2022 just sucked balls. It was awful.
Yeah, I think, you know what I mean? I think my brain has actually deleted those two from my long-term memory because I'm like, I can't even remember Brock winning. Like, what, really? Who's the final elimination?
I don't remember. It was so bad, that Rumble. I don't want to remember. Although CD, you probably let us know in the comments. I'm sure of that.
CD, who were the final eliminations in both Rumbles? Because I can't remember either of them, man. And I know, Ronda winning, that is actually, it's the best shot. It's better than any Charlotte Flair one.
Absolutely. Packers go in houses. Carmelo Hayes or Jimmy Uso should be the Iron Man. Like the shout for Jimmy Uso in there, particularly as well, because he needs a breakout moment. That would be a good way to do.
Yeah, he needs something for Mania as well. Like, I don't know what it is going to be at the minute.
Have to wait and see what it will be. Brock Lesnar hated winning the Rumble, says Ray there. Great idea, says Mike. I'm not sure. Maybe it's about 10 minutes ago. Could have been one of our ideas. Could have been one from the comments, but do appreciate it. It might have been, but it might have been someone else's. We've had a lot of great suggestions today. Seth and Punk from Mike here as well. Roy says, Pete Rose should have won a Royal Rumble. Kane was never the champion around WrestleMania. That could have been fun otherwise. Mike says, imagine it plays out. Io Sky wins the Women's Rumble, then defeats Rhea Ripley in another superstar in a three-way match for Mania this year. I mean, I'm not against the idea of an Io Sky Rhea Ripley match, even if it involves a third person as well. Could that be a way that NXT could get Liv Morgan in there, or I could get Becky Lynch in there?
Yeah, possibly. Again, I'm just going to keep saying it's criminal that Liv needs to win a Rumble or something to get on the Mania card. Rhea didn't need it.
Absolutely. That title might have changed in the digital media. Mance Warner apparently holds it now. Is that a spoiler? Could be. But I agree with CD. It means nothing. I agree the title means nothing. But I like the idea of what you said with Steph Delander. Maybe it's just changed in the last couple of times.
I remember seeing the video of her kind of promo saying she got it in the divorce, and I thought that's great.
I think that's a really good idea. That's from a previous comment that was made there. Can we recommend a good Batista movie? For me, I'm a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of guy.
The first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is great. Other than that, not off the top of my head. I've seen very few like main star Batista films, if I'm honest.
I haven't seen many Batista movies either, to be fair.
While you're carrying on, I'll find one just so I can read it out.
There we go, Roy. You're going to get an answer for you in a couple of moments' time there. But Logan Paul, 40-plus minutes there from Mike, suggesting that's how long he could beat in the Rumble. Roy asking, did you like the 40-man Rumble? I did back in the day. In 2011, I think it's a very underrated Royal Rumble. However, I do feel like the 30-person format works really, really well. And I do feel like when we saw the 50-man Rumble, for example, just recently, it felt a bit overkill. And I think that because we have this buzz of who was number 30 and all that stuff, it breaks tradition. So I don't want to see it come back necessarily. However, I did like it for the 1 year we had it, even though I wasn't such a big fan of the winner at the time.
It was appropriate for the time because they had such a stacked roster that they needed the 40. But yeah, I'm content with having two Rumbles rather than a 40-man entry.
Yeah, I agree as well, because if you have 40 for the men, you got to do it for the women. And all of a sudden, I mean, we complain how long these shows are anyway a lot of the time, but I mean, Rumble's usually a very long show. So, I mean, that's going to creep things over to the 4.5, 5 hour mark. So I'm okay. I'm good with the 13. Bounty Hunter, I tell you what, you throw a baseball, and I tell you, he's knocking it out of the park here today. Jacob Fatu eliminates Solo, making Fatu more over. I hate you, Solo.
That's your WrestleMania match as well, Jacob Fatu versus Solo. That was, dude, man, this guy's on form. Honestly,
I'm going to start that comment as well. Will we see Booker T in the Rumble? I mean, he did wrestle just recently, so never say never, but he's been a surprise entrant many times in the Rumble match.
I'm going to say no, just because I want the main roster stars on there now. And the fact that we're going to probably get Pat McAfee, that's enough for me.
Absolutely. Mike says here, Rocker's the 31st entrant kills me. He's on the board, and directors, after all, he can do what he wants. Absolutely. He can definitely do what he wants at this point. CD said that Brock Lesnar eliminated Drew McIntyre in the finals, and Ronda Rousey eliminated Charlotte Flair. I suppose it would have been better with the other two, I guess, going back and in hindsight.
Yeah,
2022.
I know. I was just trying to think. I just still cannot for the life of me remember how they finished. Like, because wasn't Oh yeah, because obviously Drew eliminated Brock 2 years before, wasn't it, when he kicked him over the top rope? So yeah, I think I slightly remember that. Ronda Rousey, I honestly do not remember that still. Cannot remember. And do you know what? I think at the time when you're sitting there saying Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Final 2 Rumble, honestly, to me, that's honestly worst Rumble finish ever. Having two people that I probably at the time just really didn't like.
I can understand that entirely. Roy hated when Brock Lesnar won Money in the Bank.
Oh, that peed me off. Something rotten.
Brock Party was quite fun though. R-Truth pretends to be in a chamber pod instead of the Rumble. If only had an Iron Survivor challenge earlier in the evening, that would make so much sense to do.
It would be. I'm just expecting some sort of goofy interaction between Truth and Cena.
Okay, so CD said it. Steph Delander is the digital media champion, but Mansour is with her and held up the title, which is confusing fans. They're a couple in TNA and in real life. There we go. That's clarified for us there.
By the way, I cannot find a good Batista movie apart from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, he has just like Blade Runner 2049 was okay, but he's in it for like 5 minutes, and so I think the Guardians of the Galaxy is probably your best bet.
We'll go with Guardians. That's going to be our answer for you today. Yeah. Jordan Grayson, she wants to see Ultimate X in WWE. She wants to see it at WrestleMania as well.
Long shot, but yeah, why not, man? Like, as long as they've got that giant X hanging over the ring, it'd be great.
I think that it's more likely NXT will get that luxury at some point. And I look forward to when it happens.
Worlds Collide next year.
Oh, Worlds Collide. Yeah. Give me Worlds Collide massively. And last comment we're going to take then. Bounty Hunter says Ella Knight and Tama Tonga have a yeah versus stand up in the Rumble. That'd be good for a number 1 and 2, wouldn't it? It's a great shout.
Yeah, definitely.
Massive thanks to everyone that has been involved here. We've had some few newbies in this one today, so thank you for your comments and for the regulars as well for joining us. It's a Royal Rumble season, ladies and gentlemen. See, we're all hyped. We're hyped like Mojo Riley, to be fair, but hopefully it's going to have a better result when it comes to this Saturday. But if you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share with our friends, subscribe as well. Do that good stuff. Help this channel grow. Thank you for the kind words, Mr. Sims UK. Hope you enjoyed the Rumble this Saturday along with everybody else. And as well to the man next to me as well, who I'm sure will be watching it live, Mr. NXT. Thanks for joining us as always.
Always a pleasure, dude. It's, again, the most wonderful time of the year. It's Royal Rumble season.
Absolutely, indeed. I tell you what, 30 gift wrap presents in a Royal Rumble match.
60.
Twice, 60 overall, because we're going to do it twice. Really excited for it. It's going to be a hell of a show. Let us know your predictions in the comments below, and thanks to you if you are watching or listening on delay. Take care. Thanks for watching. We will see you for the next one, and keep an eye out for a review on the channel as well. And more videos will drop on this channel during the week on the build to the Rumble. So keep an eye out for those as well.